Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to The Mediator with me, your host, Brian West, here to give you your top 8 headlines and developing news stories that made it throughout the week. Let me read the disclaimer. These top 8 stories are only documented for records and to highlight topics for those in the business of talk radio, talk media, and those who just want to stay informed. Now, folks, we have a grand show for you today. As I said, sit around your radio sets, grab your children, get your cup of tea and coffee or whatever you like to drink, and just ease out and just listening to my soothing voice as I bring you into mediation. It is my duty as a mediator to keep you informed, keep you locked and loaded on the top 8 stories. So when you're at the dinner table and somebody has a fact or fiction story, it can always be justified through mediation. There's something in it for everybody. As I stay on my side of the aisle in the middle, you stay on the left or the right, I can give you something to feed off of. Let me get to the top 8 stories real quick. And like I said, if you want to contribute in any way, you can go to METHOD, the number 8, inc.com. You can go there and you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something during the show. We also post the shows. They usually post on Mondays, but if you want to listen live, you can go to www.600wsom.com and you can listen live if your signal is not strong enough. But I'm hoping I'm giving you enough frequency, enough vibrations to keep you going. Now we're going to get to the top 8 stories that made it into the media this week. I don't want to keep you waiting because I know that everybody deserves a chance for mediation. Story number 1, religion, period. Religion made the news, folks, and this story, I said, it caught my attention because of the religious topic is just always a hot topic, but it made it into the top 8 because of the fact that the UN there's a few stories in here that the reason why religion is back on the radar. I guess the UN, they're calling for an end to virginity test in Afghanistan. I guess it was considered a crime for women to have premarital sex, but some in the UN are calling for an end to virginity test. Religion is a very hot topic. It always is because of the fact that there are some believers. I'm a believer. There's some people who do not believe, and there's some people who are still on the borderline. But the laws that we put in place in the world have always affected because moral law, even in the Jewish faith, Christian faith, Muslim faith, moral law, Buddhism, moral law comes from religion, meaning the way people get married, the way the jobs, and I guess what's happening now in this society where everybody's trying to create a voice in the world. And women have been brutalized and they haven't been able to have jobs. Some people are just saying that it's common sense that people just don't want to follow or don't want to live just peacefully together, even when it comes to women and men. And this story crept in because of the fact that you can see, even when it comes to, there was some stories about, I guess, journalists that you've seen popped up, and some people are saying religion plays a big factor in the reason why this guy was assassinated, or why he was either he's alive or whatever was going on, if he's dead. But a lot of people are saying that religion plays a big part in this. We have problems in the Catholic Church with even, it's not just Catholic Church, but a lot of churches are claiming sexual assault even on the job. So when people go to the foundation, they always go back to religious law, and that is the difference between good and evil. And it's in every mythical, every place, religious law. And that's why religion will play, I mean, that's why this story made it in, because of the fact that if religion is almost like a gang that some people choose to represent, and some people, but there are pros and cons that come with religion, folks. And anybody in in a religious environment, whether it be church or whether it be anything, they will tell you that there are pros and cons to serving God. Some people vow to celibacy. Some people don't choose to mingle with the other gender because of religious law. So now that we're seeing all of these stories come to light, religion will probably stay in the news and will probably ease its way into the political arena because of the fact that there's this separation between church and state in the United States of America. Unlike other countries where religion plays a vital part in the way a country is governed. So now that you see all of the poor, you see all of the injustice, a lot of people, even there was even when religion even plays a part in the immigration crisis, because some people believe religiously that it is their religious duty to protect other human beings. So some people are getting in trouble. They're putting their own legal rights in the United States up for grabs to protect other people trying to get across the border. There's a case right now, United States versus Warren, and he's saying that the reason why he helped out this citizen, or he volunteered to do this for this organization, is because of his religious beliefs, and he claimed that his belief is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So religion is playing a big part in this big chemistry set that we're starting to see now, this big thing. And it's a big fact. You hear people saying, even in their political campaigns, that they kneel for God, and so you see religion easing its way into circles because of people's services and their beliefs, and they want votes. So this story, religion will probably stay. I mean, when you see things like, there was a story that surfaced, I guess, Washington Catholic Archdiocese, they named 31 priests accused of sexual assault. I guess 18 have been arrested and 17 are now dead. So you see all of this happening. You see even polygamy. You talk about people not wanting to get married now. Some people wanting multiple wives. Some people not wanting to even take on the responsibility of staying around. So when it comes to relationships, people not choosing to get married. They say that 40% of United States citizens right now have children out of wedlock. I'm one of those children, but that was probably back in the 80s. So you look at all of this happening, and even when you look at ethical issues between there's even some people who don't understand why some people choose a religion, or why some people choose to do what they do. So religion is creeping its way back in, is gaining steam. I don't know how long it's going to stay in the news, but when you see a journalist like this, when you see a journalist from an Arab country, go back to his native land, and he just comes up missing, religion will creep its way back into the discussion, because people want answers. This guy has a family, and people want to know why. Or is this because the fact that Muslims don't trust the United States? Is it because the fact that United States doesn't trust Muslims? The ultimate goal, folks, in mediation is always diplomacy. Always trying to get people to reason and to see things from other people's sides of view, so we don't have conflict. If you've never been in war, it's not a pretty thing. And I'm always trying to prevent war, because there's some misunderstandings here, especially when you have men. I reported about this a few weeks ago, chopping off women's clitorises and things like, just there's some things that come with religious worship, and that's what they call pagan worship, and but a lot of people are really bringing this religious thing back into the news. But the fact is that whoever wrote the Bible, the genealogy, if you take it back, even in the dark ages, before all the text was before they burned all the books, somebody somewhere knew something, and they may be trying to warn us of something to prevent us from being like them. That could be the case, folks. And as we get closer, more and more into these stories that made into the top 8 this week, even around I believe it's a Celtic holiday, Halloween, where you may see some evil stories out there. You may see death in the news. You may see death on TV, scaring people. But the fact is that there's a magic hidden, and as they call it, the spirits, even in the Torah, it's even in the Jewish faith, the Hebrew, and there's something happening on the earth that's keeping us interested and glued to what's happening in the religious circles. Let's get to the story number 2. Let me make sure I'm pretty sure I covered most of this, because there's just so many pros and cons that's going on with religion. There's even let me get this last story in here real quick. There's another story about a pharmacist. He denied a woman medication because of his religious beliefs. So religion is staying in the news. There's just so many stories that are involving religion right now. I mean, there's even another one. Let me get this one out before I get it. The American Civil Liberties Union has accused the Trump administration of uneven support for religious freedoms. So people are saying that the Trump administration hasn't been treating some religions fairly because of the Constitution that says we have a right to basically worship what we want in this country. So I see the religion story gaining some more steam. Now, like I said, if you want to comment, or if you want to know any more about this story, or see the top 8 stories that made it into The Mediator, and you want to comment, voice your opinion, or you may see a story that may pop your eye, just go to the website, method8inc.com. You can show us some support. You can also buy something, click on something, watch something, or read something. That was story number 1. We haven't even got to story number 2 yet, but there's a lot going on in the news. But religion, as you can see, is definitely a hot topic. I see this story. I see religion staying in the news. It may bump up even more because of just the crime wave, and the fact that ministers, people who are in the religious faith, they're seeing things happen to human beings, and it's their duty to keep things even out as ministers, to try to keep things stable. Years ago, nothing has changed, folks. They were priests that would come in to sanctify things. People are going to the churches. They're not getting fed. They're not getting what they need. So religion may play a key part in this. And not only just this next election, but you may see it popping up in the news as we get closer. We're getting closer and closer to midterms, folks. It's not that far away. Some people have already voted because of their beliefs. So this is a big thing. If you want to contribute in any way, method8inc.com, method8inc.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something if you want to show us some support. Or you can just sponsor a program. We are in the business of theater, media, videos, movies, music, publishing consultants, business consultants, marketing consultants, event planners, photography, videography, modeling, web consultants, and performing arts specialists. And if you want to stop by the business and pick up a ticket, we are having a movie premiere with local talent. The movie premiere will be November 18th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Holiday Inn in Boardman. If you want to show us some support, you can always come out. That's some things that are going on in the community. Now, let's get to story number 2. If I did not mention, I'm located at 5648 Market Street in Boardman, Ohio. Now, let's get to story number 2. Story number 2. Abortion and the aborter. Yes, abortion creeped back into the news once again. The debate, just the fact that this story, when it comes to women's issue, like I said, it has a lot to do, once again, with people's religious beliefs. The reason why these things are making headlines, because a lot of political candidates, when you have to sign these things into law, you have to think about it. Now, this abortion debate is, I guess we saw this happen a while back, where Planned Parenthood made headlines. Now, we got to think about this, because religion plays a key factor in almost everybody's ethical brain pattern. Some people try to figure out why criminals do what they do, or why they make the right decision. Everybody has to have a motive. So when a woman decides that she wants to engage, woman or man wants to engage in sexual activity, they have to make an ethical decision whether they want to keep the child, or they want to get rid of the child, especially after the child has already. So the issue of abortion continues to stay in the news even after Roe versus Wade centuries ago. So now we have it where the debate is slowly seeping back into the headlines because of the fact that election season is around. And when you look at the Republican agenda and you look at the Democrat agenda, Republicans are simply saying that our agenda has always been ethical. If you see Republicans voting for issues that gear towards favoring abortions, now what I want you to imagine, the reason why this story is so unique and will make you think. Now, just imagine this. Now, I like to write. I like to expand my imagination. Imagine if you do believe in God, and there were a portal where you had to send your soldiers into the world as God. Is that portal open through the woman's womb as a human being? So if people are aborting children, are they not allowing some type of maybe this child could grow up and have the cure to cancer? Maybe the child could grow up in that's the pro. But that's the positive thinking. Maybe this child could grow up and free a country, or maybe if everybody keeps aborting children, maybe there won't be enough people on the battlefield. But these are some of if you this is why I said this is an interesting show this week, because of the fact that there's so many issues that are being brought to light. So when you see things like this and you see countries, what would it have been like if my mother would have decided to abort me? There'd be no mediator. So when you see these stories surface and you talk about Planned Parenthood, the idea of Planned Parenthood is not a bad idea when people are planning children, but the prevention and where it stems from is the interesting topic. If it stems from immoral behavior, where a woman just all of a sudden said, like Margaret Sanger just says, I don't want to bring any minorities or any children who are going to be a disruption to the way of natural society. I don't want them coming into the world. So we need to stop. So this is what's happening in the atmosphere. And as the mediator, I want to comfort you, and I want to bring you into my room. And we need to talk about this, folks, because scientifically, if we can prove, if you can talk about a miracle, it will give you a sense of belief. Even myself, I can talk about immoral and moral things because I've witnessed some miracles in my life. Me myself, I was a miracle. I was born 2 weeks overdue, and I was saved by Northside Hospital, which is closed. So when we look at things like this and the courses that we can alter by the decisions that we make, the portals that we can open. So what if a woman decides to have a child, but what if she can't take care of it? So these issues may see. There was a legal battle in Missouri that brought this story into light. I guess they're sparking new thoughts in other states about abortion. Even across the world, people are there's a battle going on between the forces of good and evil as we approach the midterms. And this is reality, folks. This is real stuff. Real stuff. Like I said, if you want to show some support, you can go to method8inc.com, method8.com. You can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. We're the independent arts company. I'm located at 5648 Market Street. 5648 Market Street in Boardman, Ohio. I'm usually in there serving the public from 10 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. If you want to show us some support, you can go to our website, method8inc.com, and you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something, or just sponsor a program. Now let's get to story number 3. Story number 3 is also interesting because we're almost at the halfway point. So let me get through this. We have the nonprofit and the for-profit, which are conflicting. Now this story is interesting because of the fact that there's so much going on in the business world where you have nonprofit organizations that people are saying that are not, or just not doing their job, and you have for-profit organizations that are just, people are saying they're gobbling up the money. And the reason why this story bumped up, even made it, is because of the fact that they say that people are taking advantage of services, but some, I guess, are saying that they have no choice but to take advantage, and it all revolves around healthcare. And if you do not know, there are some nonprofit healthcare organizations out there, and there are some for-profit healthcare organizations out there. And there is an American woman who faked cancer to feed herself. She faked cancer for cash. So as we get closer to midterms, and the healthcare debate keeps creeping into the news because of the fact that in a representative republic or representative democracy, whatever you want to label the United States, we vote on laws to pay the bills. We vote on laws to vote in candidates that are representatives. But if people are abusing the system, numerous cases where you have even people using food stamps cards this is government business and taxpayer dollars. And they're even saying now that private Medicaid plans have received billions in tax dollars with little oversight. And public insurance program they assisted 75 million low-income Americans. The report shows that health plans nationally saved the Medicaid program $7.1 billion in 2016. So now the question is what is the private market doing with the profits? Because of their, if you haven't been noticing, some of their stocks have been seeing gains. And this is under the Affordable Care Act, which was passed by the Obama administration. And it looks like the Republicans are trying to repeal some things. So we're seeing a healthcare system to where in America right now, you're seeing people who may not have a job, may not have the means to get a job. They're going to the hospitals and they're getting healthcare services, and you're seeing hardworking Americans who can't afford certain things. So these issues, like I said, are creeping back into the news. Well, they're staying in the news because they're a hot topic, because you have the Democrats and the Republicans passing laws. And somebody, now in religion, it talks about moral, ethical, good and evil. What's good? What's right? Is it right for people to break the law? Even when you look at Moses came from the mountain, looked at people. We got to get it together, folks, if we want to have this nation. The mountain over the other side is filled with milk and honey. But if we want to get in this land, we've got to be common thinkers. We've got to think on a united basis. So, folks, I'm only informing you. Like I said, as a mediator, I'm trying to get you to. Now, we have some things happening in the country. Not everybody's perfect, but there are some people saying that, hey, I've been following the rules, but I'm not getting a fair shake. So, as the mediator, I have to go in between and see what we can get out of the deal. Now, let me tighten this up real quick, because now the EPA has also crept into the news in story number 3. It's wanting to know, we have to figure out, because they're saying that there's been a decrease in greenhouse gases, 2.7% in 2017. So now the story of who gets the credit as a political candidate for either regulating. We all know that the Obama administrations were big time advocates of regulating the environment. Trump administration saying that we're doing this. We're the big dogs when it comes to protecting the environment, even when it comes to health. So, folks, we have to think about ourselves. Now, these stories are creeping into the news. We have to figure out, is it because of the Messiah, Trump? Or is it because of the Messiah, Obama? Or is it because of the citizens, the Hebrew children, who are gladly crossing the Red Sea with their benefits? Somebody has got to be responsible for the miracles that are religiously taking place in the United States. Or are they just not miracles, but something that's happening in the atmosphere to open up the gates so that God himself will come from the mountains and free us from this atmosphere? Folks, is heating up in mediation. There's also some other things that made it in story number 3. Health. Now, the Trump administration, when we talk about nonprofits and for-profit, the business of religion, the business of government, the business of God, there's something happening in the atmosphere. It's getting mysterious in mediation today. Whew. Now, it says health over economy. Trump says that the economy is more important than something that cannot be proved, which is climate change. So we once again in the United States, we're at the crossroads here. Well, we have to choose between our health or the betterment of the economy. It's almost like enslaving people to build a country and then giving them freedom, but we have to make the choice. Or it's almost like the woman having a child, but having to make a choice. It's heating up in mediation, but it's I'm going to keep it calm and collective today because I want to gain your attention to see where we're going. Some people have no clue. Democrats are alleging that President Trump has intervened in FBI HQ. This is business, government business, because I guess an HQ project where they want to demolish one building and build the FBI headquarters. They want to demolish their recent one and build another one. But Democrats are saying that Trump is protecting his hotel interest. But Pamela Dixon, she countered by saying that the Democrats are putting their blame in the wrong places because the FBI made the decision, not the president. So, folks, we are here. We want to know who is leading us across the Pacific, across the Atlantic, into North Korea, into places like Saudi Arabia. Is this religiously based that this president is sent from God to save us, the prophet Trump? Or is it because of the past presidents? Jamal, the journalist, was he killed because of his beliefs? Because of what he may have thought was good for his people? Oh, it gets deeper, folks. Donating money to get your candidate elected. Billionaire Tom Steyer, I guess he wants to donate an additional $2 million to Andrew Gillum in Florida's governor's race. Folks, there's money out there. But religiously, now even in the Bible it says that it takes a lot for a rich man to back away from his glorious riches into the foundation, which is God, the belief. Religion crept in the news, folks, so I have to use it as a basis in mediation today. But people are saying that people have money, but they're giving it to the candidate that they believe will lead their state and their people into global utopia, where love and peace and happiness spread the marijuana around. We all can get high. Elizabeth Warren wants Toys R Us. She wants the owners to take care of the 30,000 laid off workers. Creditors, I guess they've been paid first, but there's no workers being paid. There's also a story that made it. Trump moves to quit 144-year postal treaty allowing China to ship goods at lower prices. So Trump is trying to save the post office, which is good. That's jobs. Elizabeth Warren is trying to save Toys R Us. But folks, as we get closer and closer to midterms, somebody wants to vote. Somebody wants to get in office. And somebody will lead us precious citizens into the promised land. Who will it be? Now let's get to story number 4 really quick, because I have to get through mediation. I have to keep it cool, so you will keep the pillow nice and warm when I hit the bed, so I can flip it over and let the coolness get me into the dream world, because I haven't gotten to the top 2 stories yet. Stay tuned, folks. Like I said, religion crept its way back into the news, and there's a journalist, and people are wondering, oh my God, the man has disappeared. People are saying he's chopped up. He goes into his country. Something shady's going on here. Something's happening in this atmosphere. We're halfway through the mediator. We're through mediation. But we're about to get to story number 4. Now, when it comes to religion, there's no sloth. If you ever watched the movie Seven, there can't be sloth. There's 7 deadly sins. And a study is showing that that exercise helps people live longer. A 70-year-old woman has run 7 marathons, 7 continents in 7 days. The question is are we getting lazier, folks? And this is something that the Republican Party is vowing to get us to understand, that we cannot live off the government. We have to get up and work as Americans. The Democratic Party, they say that people are watching too much TV. They're watching too much of the Academy Awards. They're doing too much where it's not productive. Not enough thinking. It's a threat to Homeland Security. Another cyclist, Jenny Graham, she just broke a world record. She shattered it. 125 days by riding her bike 18,000 miles. So folks, Let me rub your back in mediation today. Take you down the garden with me so we can talk about this. It's hard sometimes when you're in a room by yourself and you're trying to negotiate the difference between good and evil, when you're trying to reason with who's the life of the party. Now all this talk about blood and slaying has taken me off my tee. I want to talk about realness, folks. The reality of the situation. Who's the life of the party? We have two parties, Democrat and Republican. With the independents, the citizens. I have to interest you into what's going on in mediation, folks. Now we've reached story number 5. We're at the halfway point. And I want to give you an invitation. If you want to sponsor the program in any way, METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, methodating.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or read something. And that's if you want to show some support. We're in the business of consulting, media, theater, movies, all types of things. Photography, videography, publishing consultants. We're located at 5648 Market Street in Boardman, Ohio. We're there from 10 to 6 p.m. It's me, my little lonesome self, the mediator. Always trying to find a way to navigate things to get you as a citizen. If you're just tuning in and you want to know more, we post a show during the week. I'm giving you a great deal in mediation. And you don't have to do anything, but just go to the website, METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, and sponsor program. Click on something, buy something, watch something, or read something. But there's some stories that are happening in the news that I just have to put out to you. I have to talk to you about. Because we're getting close to the holiday season, and there's some people who won't see their loved ones this season, but they'll be there in spirit. And if you're just tuning in, religion made the news, folks. Religion crept its way in. Now let's get to story number 5. As I'm keeping it cool, calm, and collective, soothing, relaxing for you to enjoy mediation, to enjoy the mediator, me, Brian West. Like I said, if you want to sponsor a program, METHOD, the number 8, INC.com. All you have to do is buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or you could just sponsor a program. It's that easy. Now let's get to story number 5. This story got some likes. Some people, they go to the feeds that we put on the website, and they like stories that we post up. But the problem with marijuana, it got some likes. This story got bumped up to number 5 because it got a lot of people's attention. If you do not know, Canada is legalizing marijuana. There was also a story about a 9-year-old girl. She sold out of her Girl Scout cookies, and they were laced with marijuana in Canada. Folks, this marijuana thing is big. And it was legally put because I think it was strategic, because I think the government wanted to corner the black market. They figured, hey, people are buying it anyway. They're spending money on it. Why don't we just legalize it? So now we're starting to come to the crossroads. And like I said, folks, religion plays a big factor in this. And if you did not hear earlier, the reason why religion plays a big factor in this is because in the Bible, the book that a lot of people choose to live by, some people choose not to. But the voice of religion is more important now than it was maybe years ago. It's always been important. Because in the Bible, it says there's some trees we were not supposed to eat off of. Now, there's some light bulbs going off in my head. Is marijuana a gateway drug? We have so many opioid problems. It's an epidemic. Does marijuana contribute to the rise in opioid use? There was a story that a doctor says she has to study with the medical what medical marijuana can do for people because of some soldiers that said that they've been smoking it and it's been helping them with their PTSD. But folks, is it a drug? And once again, was the Bible or some people who wrote it trying to warn us of a road not to take? Oh boy. Did you know that there's another story that made it in this story number 5? Heavy marijuana use has been tied to a woman's mysterious vomiting. They're also saying that legalized marijuana is linked to a spike in car accidents. Studies found that there's been a 5.2% average increase in accidents. Oh my God. Is there some trees that enlighten us to believe gloriously that we should all just get naked and walk around in the garden with no consequences? Is there a reason why girls get drunk and all of a sudden get loose and say, oh, I didn't do it. He made me do it. She made me do it. We got drunk together. He was doing... Folks, there's something happening in mediation today. There's a discovery. We've got to get to the bottom of this. We've got to figure this out. And only the mediator can come to the rescue, folks. As we get closer and closer to the top two stories, I want to remind you that a story made it into the mediator that has to do with religion. And it sparked all kind of ideas in my head, because me being a prominent biblical scholar, trying to read and stay up to speed, keep myself cleaned off in decency, trying to be presentable to the public in all of his majesty. If there is a God to be served on the other side, I want to be great, and I want to feel great. I want to say in my ending journey, job well done, child. But I have to believe. Oh, ladies, I know. Let me get to that. If you want to show us some support, METHOD, the number 8, INC.com. You're in the media with me, Brian West, and the radio keeps me alive. It's my therapy. I've never smoked a joint in my entire life, but I'm telling you, it's principalities in the smoky. Mediation. It's principalities. Somebody's got to pay up. But if you want to contribute in any way, METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, methodany.com, where you can buy something, watch something, click on something, or just read something if you want to show some support. We also have a movie premiere coming up November 18th, a community movie premiere where we let local talent display their talent in movies. If you want to see me act like a complete nut, you can also go to the website, METHOD, the number 8, INC.com. We have a movie premiere November 18th at the Holiday Inn in Boardman from 6 to 8 p.m. And you can meet me and some of the actors in this area. If you want to network in any way, we're in the business of theater, media, movies, videos, music, publishing consultants, business consultants, marketing consultants, event planners, photography, videography, modeling, web consultants, and performing arts specialists. So many things going on as the independent art companies. And like I said, if you want to show us some love, go to the website, METHOD, the number 8, INC.com. Buy something, watch something, click on something, or just read something. Now let's get to story number 6. The Saudi issue. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to know why a journalist was killed. Or if he is just being holded for collateral, maybe somebody's not saying something. But Jamal Khashoggi is gone. He's not. We haven't seen him. And there's something going on in politics, something going on in the news, and people are wondering why a journalist has disappeared. Some people are saying that the field of journalism did this. Some people are saying that the reporting. But there is something going on, and I'm telling you that it may be due to religion. I'm just giving you a pointer. This whole show today has been talked about. We've talked about moral and ethical concerns, about the pros and cons of engaging into a faith, a belief, and practicing it daily. But we may be seeing something here to where a journalist may have seen something positive for his people. This could be the case. And he may have seen something about the American culture that was special. And he may have been taking it to the world of Islam and with his fellow brothers. And it could be the case that they may not have accepted it. We don't know. We don't know. But there is a reality, and there's some cons in religion. Religion can be brutal. Religion can be frightening at times. Because some of us just want to be free. We want to fly like birds. And if this man died because he was trying to give something or open up a way for his people to live, some people, there's nothing wrong with living a conservative life. I've chose that life my entire life. There's been some wildness in my life, but I've always tried to please God. But there's a reality setting in, folks, that something happened to this man. And if he's missing, if they're holding him for collateral, I always say my Christian brothers, my Muslim brothers, my Jewish brothers, because I believe that we all are here for a reason. But there needs to be more details about what's going on in this If this has to do with sides taken, we think you betrayed us. We think you went mingle with Americans. We do not want American law on our children. We do not want American law on our women. We do not want our women liberalized. We do not want our women driving. You've committed a foul act. Now you must pay for it. Though, do you see what the Americans do to themselves? Do you see what they do to their people? If this is the case, if religion is not a big factor in this, folks. Years ago, I remember two towers falling. And I remember Osama bin Laden claiming that we were evil country. Some people believe this, folks. Some people believe this. Jared Kushner, he has a relationship with the Saudi crown prince. And the Trump administration is on the radar because of past and present relationships and the fact that most of these countries are trying to modernize. Some of these countries are trying to update their system so it could be better for their country, so it could be better for their people. And a lot of people have died on the quest for freedom. I myself, when I got out of the military, I came to Youngstown because I knew this city needed better people where I'm at. I knew that I've always had a choice to leave, but I've stayed. Some people choose to stay, some people choose to go back. But if this is the case when it comes to Jamal Khashoggi and the case for his people, then there'll be some ambassadors and there'll be some warriors on the battlefield because of this man's sacrifice for his people. If this is the case, but if there's something that we don't know about, if the president has relations with the Saudi government that we do not know about, like I said, people are digging up things, folks, and justice there was a little girl, I cannot remember her name, but she did not want to be married and she was murdered. She was raped and murdered because of she wanted. They said she lied about. I don't know. Beautiful little girl, princess. I guess she was saying she wanted better things. Kids are not stupid, but she was raped, and I guess they finally brought her raper to justice. But if this is the case when it comes to the Islamic faith, folks, and we may be seeing the battle for diplomacy getting even stronger, and the battle for peace in the world when it comes to religious faith. Let's get to the top two stories that made it to the media this week. If you want to contribute in any way, you can go to method8inc.com, method8inc.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something if you want to show some support. The Independent Arts Company. It is my duty. I've been doing this for a long time. Just theater, media, movies, videos, music, consulting, business events, all types of photography, videography. If you want to show some support anyway, just go to the website. I still don't consider myself great, but I've done it long enough to kind of be able to tell when something is going to happen or if I'm doing the right thing. method8inc.com, method8inc.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. Now let's get to the top two stories that made it into the media this week. If you also want to show us, we have a movie premiere. If you want to come by and buy a ticket, 5648 Market Street, Borman, Ohio, where we have a community movie premiere that we put on every year. And we have some local talent. We'll be having November 18th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Holiday Inn in Boardman. So now let's get to the top two stories that made it to the media this week, because there's something happening, and we have the migration crisis made it to number 7. First of all, we have to think when you see over 4,000 people coming from Honduras and trying to get into the United States and through Mexico, you have to ask yourself, is this strategic? Now, in the Christian faith, you have to have belief and you have to have faith in your fellow man. You have to be what they call, you have empathy, passion for your fellow people, because the human race, the human civilization, as a being, we want to keep coexist. But people are saying that there's some fishy stuff on this, and they want to know, is it strategic because of the fact that we're approaching election? And Donald Trump made a statement. He says these people are using children as sympathy. They're saying that they're throwing children into the mix. So the Trump administration wants to bring DACA cases back to the Supreme Court by giving families two options, putting it in their decision. And either they will remain detained together while the case works its way through the system, or they will allow their children to be released from custody after 20 days, but it will be the parents' decision while the parents stay behind bars. So this is something that we hardly ever see, but every country has an immigration problem. So why are people throwing morality and the business of government in this right around election time, the midterms? So folks, there's some light bulbs going off, and there's a lot happening in the world. But there's a reality setting in when it comes to the business of God, the business of government, and the business of citizens, and the business of law. Trump has threatened to cut aid to Honduras over migration crisis. If you did not know, Honduras has a long history of poverty and corruption. It also has one of the highest murder rates in the world, according to the World Bank. More than 60% of their population in Honduras lives in poverty. So could it be because of these people's circumstances that they are coming to the United States? Did someone tell them to do this? Or is this something that just needs to be brought to the global stage? That we cannot forget about the poor. Now, the Bible, Jesus himself spoke about poor people. Folks, we're headed somewhere. And the question is who is going to lead us across the Red Sea into the promised land known as the United States and create laws for the world to rejoice in, to live by? Will it be the mediator, or will it be the elected candidates? Will it be the citizens? Will it be you placing your vote at the ballot? In Warren versus the United States, do you know that this man was an instructor? He was a volunteer. I mentioned this earlier when I got on this topic. He was a volunteer of an organization called No More Death and ended up getting arrested after getting caught with 2 illegal immigrants. People are risking their own freedoms in a country to save people. This is where we've come. Criminals merging in with refugees and migrants to hopefully get a chance at the American dream or to wreak havoc. If you look at some of these photos, folks, these people have burns on them, tattoos. Some of them look clean, some of them don't. We've reached the crossroads, folks. If you want to relate to what's going on, you can speak to any humanitarian aid on the ground and they will tell you what's happening. There's something happening in the world right now, folks. And there's a deceiver and there's somebody telling the truth. You may be eating a meal now, and some people may be not knowing where their next meal is coming from. There are people in Florida right now who have been suffering from the hurricane. And there are people who claim, or people of the faith, who have minimal amount of resources and they still haven't donated. You see things happening every day in minority communities, rich communities. But the simple fact is some people have read the good book when it comes to religion and some people have not. This is not a religious program, but religion crept its way back into the news. But there are moral and ethical concerns. People want to know why when people get married, they get a divorce. People want to know why they have to live by the law. These are things that are coming up in this midterm election. And the majority of the Senate, the majority of the House, some of those people will be there by your vote. You can be having fun. You can be getting drunk and going out having a good time. But you still have to wake up and realize that there's more going on around you. As we get to story number 8, the top story that made it into the media this week, probing the president and what's really at stake for this midterm election. When I say probing the president, that Democrats may not only be doing this, but most of what they are digging up may not come out until he tries to seek a second term. That's a tip. But they're probing him now. They're probing his administration. They're probing the Republicans' agenda, period. Democrats. Testing the law. They will be looking at this president's business interest. They will be looking at his relationship with Russia and what special ties he has to the Saudi Arabian government. I'm telling you this in mediation. Trump ties with the Saudi government go back to 1990. When one of Trump's casino projects were faltering under a mountain of debt, a Saudi prince bought Trump a Trump yacht for $20 million. Folks, this is like I said, I have to tell you what's going on. I vote for the better candidate. Right now, I think the Republican Party is trying to save this country. I think they love America. Right now, I do not know what the Democrat agenda is. I really don't. But it's a little sloppy. But this is what reporters, journalists, people are saying are the enemy are digging up. Not to bring anybody down, but to show you what's really happening so you can be enlightened, to understand what's happening in your representative republic, representative democracy, country, social, whatever. The people you are voting in, you have to make a decision. Who's the better candidate? 10 years later, public records show that Donald Trump sold the 45th floor of his Trump Towers in New York City to the Kingdom, Saudi Arabia, for millions of dollars. There's a lot going on, folks. There's a lot going on. President Obama was no different. But we have to go to the polls, and people are looking for some good candidates. Some people, they're just looking for some good candidates. I don't want to give anybody any more ammunition because there's bodies everywhere, folks. Could there be some good that comes out of this? Could Trump be the black sheep, the genius put in office to reveal all of the plotting that has been going on? Could this be why President Trump, the savior, the Messiah, right along with all the other presidents, the saviors of democracy, the person put in office to free us, split the Red Sea? Will the economy be enough to keep Trump winning? They even say that Hillary Clinton may be eyeing another 2020 run. She has some baggage under her belt. There was even some stuff that made the headlines about white privilege, and folks, it is getting sloppy. It is getting sloppy. The national debt bumped up 17% because of tax cuts imposed by the Trump administration. But the cuts, they say the cuts are eating into the government's revenue. Folks, we're headed somewhere. This may be the reason why the Fed has raised interest rates, because of Trump corporate tax cuts. Voter turnout hit a 50-year record high, folks. Well, they're projecting it to hit a 50-year record high at the midterms. Folks, those are the top 8 stories that made it into the media this week. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, if you want to contribute in any way, you can go to METHOD, the number 8, INC.com. You can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. There are flu clinic locations around the Mahoning Valley. If you want to find them, I recommend you go to your local newspaper. Also, if you want to figure out more about the candidates, I recommend you go to your local newspaper. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to contribute anyway, METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, methodinc.com. I want to thank you all for tuning in this week. Like I said, it is my duty to keep you informed as we get closer and closer to election time. As the mediator, I have to navigate the news just for you. Please show us some love. Go to the website. The book of the month is Monuments Men, and that we will, it was available on the website, but I'm sure you can find it. I'll try to get another copy if I can. I want to thank you so much for tuning in this week with me, your host, Brian West. I wish you all the best of love, and I want you to have a good week and stay informed, folks. There's a lot going on in the world. Have a good week, everybody. Thank you for tuning to the media with me, Brian West.
If you need help, then dial your operator. Have no fear, fellow citizens. The mediators